fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.
Hi, welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm your host, Rosemary LaChance.
And I'm also your host, Carla Augustin.
Okay, tonight, this is our show number 240. And we're doing something a little bit different. The title of the show is called The Power of Spiritual Books. And we're going to do a book review of some of our favorite books that you may find interesting and would like to read yourself. We'll show you the book, we'll give you a little information about it, and see how it goes. Okay? All righty.
I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
This was Carla's baby. She wanted to do this for so long.
I'm really excited to do this. I said, let's just talk about some of our favorite books and why, and maybe it'll inspire a few people. And
yeah, because a lot of things that we talk about on here come from books.
Yes, and there's so many books out there. That's the thing. I mean, you could read forever all the different spiritual books.
I know.
It's hard to pick. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, you want me to begin?
Yes, you begin because it was your idea, your baby. Right. This is your baby.
All right, so I want to show you this little book. This is my all-time favorite, okay? It's called The Healing Light by Agnes Sanford. And I love this book. It's what I would pick as the number one. It's not in print, but you can still find it online, used books type of thing. She has another one too called The Healing Touch of God. They're both really, really good. I love this because I have such respect for her. She wrote this in 1947. It's a hands-on healing book and spiritual healing and the power of prayer. So her background is she was born in China to Presbyterian missionaries. Then she lived in New Jersey with her husband, who was an Episcopalian rector. And she brings Jesus into everything, all right? And to think that this woman was out there in the 40s, 50s, and 60s doing laying on of hands, hospitals, in her, in her community, and putting it all to work. She's very well respected, and I think, Rosemary, if I had to narrow it down, everything I've read and every class I've taken and all of that, I think everything comes down to asking for what you want due to the power of our free will. And prayer is a way of asking. And so she tells you how to pray and how to pray for others and your loved ones and how important it is for us to pray for ourselves and for our loved ones. And she gets into all of that, and I just love her for it. I love it that she, it's not so hard to put it out there now with the books, the new books coming out. It's not hard, but to put it out there in 1947, I think it's a really big deal.
Yeah. Is she still alive?
She's not.
No. Okay.
No, she's not. I mean, I would love to hear her speak or take a class with her, but I just love this book.
Sounds good. I may borrow from you and read it.
Yeah, it's a great little book.
I haven't read that.
Is. It's a great little book.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. My first one is going to be Closer to the Light. Okay, it's by Ron Moody. Remember him? He's the one who started interviewing people for past life experiences.
Yeah, Raymond Moody, yeah.
I'm sorry, what did I say, Roy?
Yeah, Ron or something, but
Raymond Moody. I'm sorry.
Moody.
Thank you for correcting that. And he's the one who started interviewing people who had near-death experiences. Yes. And this is excellent. And this is about children. It says, learning from the near-death experiences of children, okay? Revelations and what it feels like to die. And he says, I'll read you a little bit about the back. It was only 10 years ago that he first discovered near-death experiences. And he's a renowned pediatrician. Now Dr. Melvin Moore, a renowned pediatrician and leader in the field of near-death research, goes one step further, presenting astonishing proof that these experiences do indeed exist. And he had hundreds of interviews with the children who had been declared clinically dead.
That's unbelievable.
So Dr. Morse found the same description, the same experience, the same attitude over and over again, that the end of the life is serene and joyful, a welcome event not to be feared. So he interviewed this doctor who heard all this from these children. Raymond did that, right?
Okay.
And a little bit about it says here, just to give you a little idea. Let me see if... no, I didn't have any, no table of contents in this. But anyway, his first publication was called Life After Life, and you might want to buy that and read that too.
That's a good one.
Yeah, about people. I think that was the first one I read when I started to get into all of this.
Yeah, it opens you all up. Don't you remember, like, your first time, reading these books, and it's like it just opens you up to everything.
Then he had a part 2, and I read that too, and I was grabbing everything I could get from him, So there's really not much to say about it, to describe it to you, but it's just something that I think you should read, and because it's actual interviews with people who have had these experiences.
Especially children.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially the children.
How could it be any more innocent? Yeah, you have to give him a lot of credit for talk about stepping out of the boundary. An innovator, and not caring what everybody thought.
That's right.
I mean, it's easy to talk. Again, it's easy to talk about it now, but back then, he
wasn't that popular back then.
It wasn't. Yeah, right.
But
right.
Now,
it's everyday acceptance. I mean,
no.
They ask you in the hospital if something happens. Did you see the light? Did you?
Now they do.
Now it's totally acceptable.
I know it. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, Closer to the Light.
That sounds like a good one.
All righty.
All right. So this book too, I really love it. It meant a lot to me. This is called The Gentle Art of Blessing. My sister-in-law had recommended it, and I got it, and I didn't regret it. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name right, but it's by Pierre Pradervand, Pradervand. A simple practice that will transform you and your world. A blessing is a wishing from the bottom of your heart, sincerely, the best for someone else. Okay, so it's very sincere, very real, no judging. Okay. He writes on the back of the book, how can a blessing change the world? According to him, making the conscious choice to bless every person or being around you can truly make a world of difference in yourself and in the others around you. In The Gentle Art of Blessing, Pradervand shows that the practice of blessing has the power to create more than just a renewed perspective. It unleashes tangible benefits throughout your entire life, through your daily interactions, your lifelong relationships, and the way that you approach your place in the world. It's really just not getting frustrated, not getting angry, even when you're happy with people, to just get in that practice of sending them a blessing. And he gets into how to do this, okay?
Tells you how to do it.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah, give us an example. I'd like to.
All right. It was about a year ago. I was driving to the show, and I was turning at a light, and this man with a makeshift truck goes into my lane. I literally go up on the sidewalk, and he's clueless, and he keeps driving. And so I found myself doing, which I think a lot of us do, just immediately going towards being upset. I could have been hurt. That was dangerous. What does he think? And then I just stopped myself. And instead, I got grateful for what actually happened.
What didn't happen to
and
you.
What didn't happen. So I went up on the sidewalk, but there was nobody on the sidewalk. So I'm so grateful for that. Like, I didn't hurt somebody based on what he did. And I'm grateful I'm not hurt. I'm grateful he's not hurt. Nobody got hurt. Nobody's car got injured. And then it turned me around completely. Instead of going off on the tangent of what could have been and why I have a right to be mad because this was done to me, I said everything I was grateful for. And then I just sent him a blessing. And I just said that I want you to drive home safely. I pray that you don't cut anybody else off. I don't know if you're preoccupied, because if there's something going on in your life, I wish you well with that. And just keep sending that kind of blessings like that instead.
That's really nice.
And then offer yourself a blessing like, please help me when I'm clueless. I'm sure there's plenty of times I'm clueless driving and don't know when I'm doing something stupid.
Great idea.
So please help me, bless me, that I don't hurt anybody. So going off on this whole other thing of blessing people just takes you immediately out of anger and immediately out of, I'll show you, and it's just nice.
I wonder how we could get in the habit of doing that, especially today when everybody's angry all the time.
Everybody's angry all the time, and it's like, stop yourself and be like, wait, what am I actually grateful for? Even if you're in a fender bender, what am I actually grateful for? It was just a fender bender.
Try to look on the bright side of everything.
Trying to switch it to the positive, like showing the universe, I think. Showing the universe, I am grateful for these things, so keep these things coming to me. I'm very grateful for that. Instead of harping on, I could have been hurt. I could have been sick. Like, why go?
Yeah.
I wasn't. Something saved me. So it's like, thank that something that saved me. And
maybe we could people could make up a very short mantra to say when you're getting mad and you're starting to get aggravated and all of a sudden it pops into your head, or some kind of signal with your hands, or have something on you like you can hold up. Something that will snap you out of that anger.
Snap you right out of it. Yeah. And even in this, it's not because something happens or somebody does something to me. It's just I'll see a child in the store crying and just sending the child a blessing, the mother a blessing. It's just something unconditional, non-judgmental. I don't know why the child is crying. I don't know why the mother's upset. I don't know why. I don't know anything, right? What do we know? We know nothing.
Right.
Even with the people we're closest to, we know so very little. And it's just, you know what? I'm just going to send you a blessing. I'm upset with somebody, but you know what? I think instead, and it's genuine. It's not anger.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He gets you in the mood when you read the book.
Oh, that's great.
He gets you motivated to do it. I guess that's what I loved about it. It's just such a feel-good book. If you just want to feel good, read his book. It's just a really...
Hans had one of his videos is called How to Bless, remember?
Yeah.
I don't know if he did that with me or not.
I don't think so. I should just go and watch it.
Yeah.
Or
maybe we could do it again sometime on the show.
Yeah, right.
Some of the older ones we could maybe do again so people can see.
That's a good idea.
The show's becoming more and more popular now, so we should put some of those back in. Yeah, remember that, How to Bless, it's called.
I'm going to have to watch that.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, it is. It's a really great.
Pick it up. Tell us the title again.
Okay, and it's The Gentle Art of Blessing.
Okay.
Gentle Art of Blessing. There we go.
Now, let's see. What shall I come up with next? Let me do the Tolle books.
Yeah.
This is called The Power, let me see.
Yeah, The Power
of Now. Oh, that's better. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I'm sure everybody's heard of Eckhart Tolle. He's a very spiritual man. He's written several books. This is the first one he came out with. And it's a spiritual guide to enlightenment. It says, one of the best books to come along in years. Every sentence rings with truth and power. And he got that, Deepak Chopra said that about him. And to tell you a little bit about it, it says it can transform your thinking. The result? More joy right now. To make the journey into the power of now, we will need to leave our analytical mind and its false created self, the ego, behind. From the very first page of this extraordinary book, we move rapidly into a significantly higher attitude where we breathe a lighter air. We become connected to the indestructible essence of our being, the eternal, ever-present, one life beyond the myriad forms of life that are subject to birth and death. Although the journey is challenging, Eckhart Tolle uses simple language and easy question and answer format to guide us. And
not an easy book to get through, but it's
not
excellent, but it's so worth it.
I have it all marked all over the place. You can't see it on here, but with all different things.
Yeah.
And let me see if I put something on the beginning.
And it's really, I haven't read it in so long, but it's about being present, isn't it? Really
Yeah,
about being
it
just
is.
present.
You're not your mind, the way out of pain, moving deeply into the now, mind strategies for avoiding the now, the state of presence, the inner body, and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that he said that I wanted to read to you from here that I had marked. How does the mind pattern operate in your life? Are you always trying to get somewhere other than where you are? Is most of your doing just a means to an end? Is fulfillment always just around the corner or confined to short-lived pleasures, such as sex, food, drinks, drugs, or thrills and excitement? Are you always focused on becoming, achieving, attaining, or alternatively chasing some new thrill or pleasure? Do you believe that if you acquire more things, you'll become more fulfilled, good enough, or psychologically complete? Are you waiting for a man or a woman to give meaning to your life? Okay. This is what we do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us are doing this? We
Right.
are doing this.
Waiting until. Yeah.
Chasing this, chasing that, which it's fleeting. It's all
That's
fleeting.
all fleeting. Then I'll be happy.
Yeah, right.
You know, and it's like, no, books like this are teaching you, no, be present, appreciate what's immediately around you, even if your life's a mess, right? Just appreciate what's around you.
Yep.
What are you doing? Are you sitting with a friend? Are you having a nice cup of coffee? Do you hear the birds singing? Is it a pretty sun outside?
That's right.
Like, you know, just appreciating what you have right now.
Now.
That's all we have is right.
That's right.
That's all we have is right now. We don't have yesterday.
Nope.
We don't have tomorrow.
Nope.
There's no guarantees, nothing.
So it's like live the moment.
Just live the moment. And
In the spiritual
value
group that I
the moment.
follow,
Yes.
she has a book called Live in the Moment.
Live in the moment.
Which is the same thing, the power of
Yes.
now. Right now.
Right.
If we could do that, we could be so grateful, right?
Yes.
All the time.
Yes, being grateful all the time.
And present. Be present.
Mm-hmm.
Every moment, be present. Be present in every moment. Like you said, if you're sitting there, you hear the birds. You don't usually hear the birds. You're so into conversation.
Right.
You want to talk about who did you wrong or what happened in the world
Right.
today. Sit quietly.
Right.
Drink your
Right.
coffee and talk slowly. And you'll hear the bird.
Yes.
And you'll feel the breeze on your face. Or if it's snowing out, you look at the flakes coming down.
Yeah.
There's so much precious things
Yeah, what am I
every
feeling?
moment. Yeah.
What does this stir in me? Does this bring up a memory?
Right.
Does this, you know, just like being comfortable with you too, you know. But even I think it applies even when you're with a group. Like are you with a friend having coffee and you're 10 miles away thinking about what you're going to do that night?
Exactly.
Or what work you have waiting for you at home. Are you really sitting there enjoying the cup of coffee?
And the friendship.
The
Yep.
friendship, you know, are you really doing that?
That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't do that.
We don't.
Our
Well,
minds
I
are
think,
darting here and there.
So many of us are guilty of that. Yeah. Yeah, and it's all these things, it's a practice, like the Blessing Book, it's a practice. This being in the present, the power of now, it's a practice, you know, it's nobody does it perfectly. It's like meditation, nobody does it perfectly. It's just a prayer. No one does it perfectly all the time, always remembering, always this, always that. There's no always. It's just a practice, like aspire towards it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this helps us to appreciate every moment.
It does.
If you read this, if you get through it and you do what he says,
Yes.
you'll start to really appreciate life a lot more. You'll start to get more enjoyment out of life every day.
Yes.
The little things you didn't notice before, all of a sudden you'll start to
Right.
notice. And you'll start to realize, gee, I am happier. Gee, I am more at peace, you know.
Right.
So try.
I do have happy things in my life.
Right.
I do, yeah.
So try to read this.
Yeah, it's
The
a good
Power
one.
of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Okay.
Okay. All right, neat. All right, so this book, I absolutely love this book. I recommend it in my class when I teach
Messages.
after death communication.
Oh.
I recommend this all the time. She actually lives, or she did live, in Connecticut. It's messages, signs, visits, and premonitions from loved ones lost on 9/11.
Wow, that's nice.
It's a wonderful, I mean, I commend her. She did such a good job. Her name is Bonnie. Her last name, I think it's McGeaney. I'm not sure, but it's Mceneaney. But this book is so wonderful because she does this excellent job of each, like the chapters are different. Like there's the chapter on signs, the chapters on visits, the chapters on premonitions. So she's so methodical. She just lays it out so it's not confusing. And what happened was she did lose her husband on 9/11, and she noticed as time went on, and she would go to like support groups, or she'd go to groups that they would try to get more information. People started sharing their experiences of their loved ones, either, oh gosh, it was amazing how many young people always knew they would never live a long life.
Wow.
Or the people that had signs that summer that something was happening. People, when they were driving, when it happened, knew something happened to them. I mean, just so many things. The visits afterwards, the people that died in 9/11 that came back to tell parents or spouses, I'm okay, don't worry. It's just so incredible. It does not read sad, okay? It doesn't read sad because it's an amazing book that she's gathered all this information.
So she gathered. She herself is not a psychic, right?
No. She
gathered all from psychic people.
No, not psychic people. She gathered this from the victims' families.
They had the experiences?
They had, or they would share, it didn't make sense at the time, but, my loved one that I lost, I'm just kind of making this up, but like had a dream in the summer, like the summer before, because it was September, the summer before, how they just got feelings that they weren't going to be around long. And these are the ones that died saying this. Then when they did die, went back and, visited, okay.
That's what I mean. How did they do that?
Like they appeared to them.
They appeared to the people themselves.
That's why I recommend it all the time in the after-death communication class, because after-death communication is when your loved one goes directly to you without the use of a psychic. All right, so I'm sure there are people out there going to psychics. This has nothing to do with psychics. This is actual visits that people had, or feelings that people got beforehand, or things that happened afterwards, the signs that people got. It's so incredible. She herself, do you remember after the buildings went down for many days, it was just so sad. Remember, people were putting up the pictures of their loved ones saying, have you seen this person? So she had people at her house in Connecticut, and they were manning phones and all of that. And it was a very still day, very, very still out, not a bit of breeze at all. And she just had a feeling to go outside. And so she goes outside, and she's standing there, and she basically says to her husband, where are you?
I've done that. I've done that.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she could see coming kind of down the driveway, the stirring of the wind.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
And the leaves started to rustle, and it just kind of came down. The trees were moving, and it came down, and she had a skirt on, and it just kind of played with her skirt, and then kind of left. And she knew it was him, and she went in, and she told everybody, he's gone. I know he's gone. And she herself was never a believer in afterlife and that type of thing. But she wrote the book because she couldn't get over the amount of experiences that people had, either similar to her or even more, even more than, in terms of they received an actual visit, they heard things, but same kind of thing. They got signs.
You know
it was
what?
Something.
What you mentioned, you said they went to the people instead of psychics. The reason that the spirits go to psychics is because they're quiet enough to be able to listen, to hear them.
Right.
And more people would have that experience if we did what we said before, quieting your mind.
If you quiet your
learn
mind.
how to meditate, live in the now.
Right.
On and on, doing that kind of thing.
Right.
Be aware of what's going on. We could all get
yes.
communication from our loved ones.
And just ask for a sign.
Yeah.
Just
we
ask
could all
for
do that.
ask.
Yeah.
Say, I want a sign, and that's when
But you got to be
things
quiet enough
come
to get
with
it.
the wind. I mean, that's a common one, really. Things come with the wind. Things come with the birds, with coins, with
everything.
The rainbows, the butterflies, the dragonflies. I mean, all kinds of symbolism comes in and lets you know that they're okay and they're still with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was especially surprised at the one with the premonitions, the amount of people that would say to their friends, I just don't think I'm going to live long. And, either their whole life or just weeks and months before 9/11 happened. So it's just, it really is.
It sounds like a very interesting book.
It's an excellent read, and I just highly recommend it. She did a superb job. She really did.
How did you, let me ask you before we go on, how did you find these books? What made you pick these books?
She was actually interviewed. She was on the news, and she was being interviewed. My husband called me in the room because he's like, oh, this is for you. You got to come see this. This is for
nice.
you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I wrote it down and ordered it, and I love it.
For most of them, though, how do you actually
hear from people?
You hear from people.
All different ways. Here, somebody really recommends. My students have recommended books that I've more than been happy to go out and get. My peers, friends. I've got a book to talk about that my brother recommended. And then if I'm reading about it, I read about it online or I read an article and it just seems like a good book. And sometimes I love going to used book sales, library used book sales, used bookshops, and then just going through and picking up, being open, like, who should I read?
That's the time.
You know what I mean? And pick a book out. Does it grab me or not? Put it back. Take another one out. Does it grab me or not? Especially when I think with spiritual books, I kind of want to point out to everybody, it's so common. I mean, if you could see my library at home, there's bookmarks everywhere in every book.
Yeah, me too.
Because sometimes with a spiritual book, you just can't get through the whole thing all at once, and I don't know if you're meant to. Really pray that you read what you're meant to read. So sometimes, most of the time I'm reading the whole book, but lots of times I'll get by a few chapters, put the book down, let it go a few weeks, months, whatever, even a year, put it back on my bookshelf, and then I'll feel it call me again, and then pull it out and get something even fresher from it. It's just so right to read it again. I'd love the time to go back. I would love to go back and read, say, The Power of Now. And so that's okay. That's okay to do with these kinds of books. That's why I like to get them used if I can.
Yeah.
Because I may just read a little bit, and that'll be it.
And I mark mine.
Completely.
Things that impress me.
Completely.
All marked up. So I can go back and just skim through.
Me too. If I want to skim through and be like, what did I love about this book?
Right.
And then, and it's just these wonderful little snippets you pick up, things that are starred, and I always write notes in my books. And
well, you got me interested in your books.
Yeah. Same here.
I'm not going to go on too long about this one.
But that's another good one with him.
By Eckhart Tolle. It's The Power of Now.
No, this is the New Earth. Was this the first one he did?
Rosemary.
Yeah, that's okay.
Get together. This is, I was reading up here.
That's why.
Yeah.
You're reading the top.
A New Earth.
Yeah.
You know that saying, a new heaven and a new earth?
Yeah, awakening to your life's purpose.
And it's, this book is about sowing the main aspects of the ego and how people operate in individual as well as a collective. How it tricks you and how you mostly do not recognize it. You cannot fight against it, but you can recognize it and keep it in its place. This book is about you. It will change your state of consciousness, or it will be meaningless. You do not become good by trying to be good, but by finding the goodness that is within you and allowing it to emerge. But that can happen only if something fundamental changes in your life. Our overblown ego is the blueprint for dysfunction. Realize that how spiritual you are has nothing to do with what you believe and everything to do with your state of consciousness and how much you recognize yourself and how you act and react in this world. Ergo, when we change our ways to embrace all God's laws, there will be a new earth. And that's what he's talking about. It'll become a time when we will, like I said, that saying, I always wonder, what does that mean, a new earth, a new heaven and a new earth? He means a new heaven doesn't mean a heaven, the place itself.
Right.
It means a new heaven on earth.
Heaven on earth.
Right, where things will be close to what it's like in heaven. When people start to wake up and they start doing all these things these writers are telling us all about.
Right.
The belief comes back, the feeling of God, the prayer, this and that and the other.
All of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a very inspiring book. And he is a wonderful writer, wonderful man. He's got classes going on. He's got lots of things. So I hope that you'll at least read some of his books.
Yeah, they are wonderful. Yeah, he's classic, for sure. All right, so I mentioned my brother. He sent me this book because he was working on it. And he goes, do you think you'd like it? I'm like, sure, I would love to. It's called The Second Mountain. I had never heard of it, by David Brooks. And
Second Mountain, okay.
The Second Mountain. And I'm still working on it. And basically what he says is that there are two mountains in life. And most of us start out on the first mountain. And the first mountain is about establishing yourself, building your career, developing your network, your friendships. And it's a lot about rewarding yourself. So it's about achieving happiness, where we go from thing to thing. So it's like if I finally buy a house, I'll be happy. And then, now I want a bigger house because I'm making more money. And that's all good stuff, right? We need to exist on this planet. So we should go after our ambitions and our dreams. Absolutely, all right? So, but that's a lot of the first mountain stuff. But what's over on the second mountain is continual bliss. And so sometimes people on the first mountain don't even know there's a second mountain. They just stay on this first mountain, always trying to,
get more.
But there's a point where people can figure out, it's not about more, what am I missing? What else, thinking laterally, what else can I do in my life? And sometimes they notice people on the second mountain, and they're like, why does she always seem content? Like, she's got a lot going on in her life, but she basically seems very content. And it's because joy lives here in your heart 24/7.
Right.
Even if your whole world is falling down, joy never leaves. So how do people find joy? People on the first mountain probably aren't finding joy. They're finding what does make them happy and established and all that.
Short-term happiness.
But not that joy.
Right.
And it's when you're on the second mountain that you actually do joy. And the people on the second mountain, people on the second mountain have made strong, this is the simple solution, and he gets into it in the whole book, and I'm still working on it, but people on the second mountain have made strong commitments to one or all four of these things: a vocation, a spouse and a family, a philosophy or faith, a community. So for me, I would say it's my vocation, my family, and my philosophy of spirituality. Community, I don't really do much for my community, to be honest. But the first three, I'm definitely there. And I can say, we have such a commitment to what we do as spiritual teachers and the shows, and that just makes me happy no matter what's going on. Just no matter what's going on.
That's when I get excited about everything.
I get excited,
Nothing
and if I can go to it, it's my
Yeah.
escape. And I had a rough year last year.
Yes.
And this was my escape, right? Coming here, I feel joy all the time.
That's nice.
I just feel it doing my work. So anyways, I love that. I'm still working on it, but it is. It's a good, but
it's really true.
It's a great metaphor how to look at things.
That's great. Okay, mine is next one is by Doreen Virtue. The 10 messages your angels want you to know. I've read this book 3 times.
Have you really?
And
Look
every
at you with your
time-
little bookmarks there.
I get more and more out of it.
Wow.
And I mean, it's just a beautiful book, and it makes you feel loved. This is, you know, it makes you feel like you're not alone. I mean, this is how I felt, you know, just like they're there, you know, like spiritual perfection, your 4 bodies, the gift of surrender, God is happiness, the light of awakening, peaceful excitement, things like that. These are the chapters in the book. Let's see, there's little things that I wanted to read to you. Okay. If a religion teaches fear as a way of pleasing God, then people are actually being pushed away from their unconscious awareness of God's love. Because you should never, ever fear God.
Right.
And they want to take all the fear. God is 100% love, with not one space for anything less than love. This is one of the things they said. Let's see. Okay, suffering is rewarded with sympathy, disability payments, lawsuit settlements, and receiving care from others. Angels are telling you this now. Some people proudly wear their suffering like a martyr. Look what happened to me. Okay? Everything created by God is deliberate. There are no accidents or factory seconds. Everything and everyone is precisely created for a specific reason and purpose. So if you're thinking to yourself, I'm not worthy, what did he make me for? What am I doing here? What kind of life have I lived? What have I ever done? Don't think like that. But if you do all these things these other books are telling us to, and they tell you how to do it, then you'll realize how important you are. Every single person is important. Every single person's here for a reason. Okay? And that reason is always for your spiritual growth. The ego is not aware at all of love, just temporary satisfaction. Okay, these are just little excerpts that I thought were interesting. When a relationship begins with an empty premise of, please save me from this separation condition of loneliness, boredom, danger, or other form of lack, then it forms upon the bumpy and rocky pathway of fear. That's a fear-based statement. So, they're telling you this. Let me see one more. This is what I love this. The emotional body craves merging with another person, just as it remembers being merged with all others and God.
Wow.
That's why we crave friendship.
We long for
as
it.
we grow up with our friend, little
for it.
friend.
Yeah.
How we crave the love from our parents. How we
Yes.
then want to crave a partner in our lives. Because this is what it's like back home. And part of us,
Makes
our
sense.
soul, our spirit remembers it. And that's why we do it.
I believe that.
Anyway, there's so much, but this is going to make you feel so good. Like I said, whenever I need to feel good,
Oh, good. It's so good to have a book you can go to.
just over and over. You
Just
just read
to
over
feel
and over
good.
and get so many messages.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Good. All right. Well, you know I love the angels. So I'll bring up an angel book. Where'd my glasses go? Okay. This is called Interview with an Angel. You can see it, Interview with an Angel by Stephen Thayer. Now, Stephen Thayer developed, it's called IET, Integrated Energy Therapy, which I am a master in.
Integrated what now?
What's that?
Integrated what?
Integrated Energy Therapy.
Energy
and
therapy.
It's
Okay, I didn't hear that
working,
word.
it's hands-on energy work.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
what I do.
working
Yeah.
with the energy of angels specifically,
Yep.
okay? And he was a holistic practitioner, and he started receiving, he started channeling Angel Ariel, and what he was working with this woman, and she would ask these questions, and she covered everything. I mean, you know, just so many different things that she covered, you know, like life passages, life on Earth, extraterrestrial life, the universe, just all these different questions that she had for people, and he would give her the answers. So the whole book is the interviewing. So there's 2 sections. I wanted to read a question like she'd ask, and then he'd channel Angel Ariel, and how she would respond to it. So I mean, it's just talk about your feel good, you know, like the book by Doreen. She and actually it kind of goes hand in hand with what you were just talking about. She said she asked the question to Ariel, are there different kinds of love? And she said, there's one kind of love, but there are many doors that you can pass through to have that experience. So it's really one love. You know, when we all say we love someone, that love energy is basically like the same, but we all have it in different ways, the experience of it. Then the other question, she said, I thought this was interesting. Does the soul remember who it was, the life it had as a human, the people who loved it? Okay? And she says the one thing you get to take with you when you leave the physical body is all of the love you had gathered during your life. Right? Yeah, you know this. You know, and it's just such a beautiful reminder.
First time I heard that,
to take
our experiences,
all we get to
what
take
we
with us.
gave, what we got.
And this is the only, love is the only energy that we get to take with us. You know, it's the only energy we get to take with us is love. We leave the body, we stop breathing, our brain isn't working, nothing's ticking. We just take the love energy. And that's why they say our deceased loved ones are able to communicate directly with us because of the love bond, that bond of love. And that's why the messages can come through. So anyways, it's a sweet book. Not a lot of people know about it, but it's a good one.
I know, when you need uplifting, when you need to know there's more to life than this.
You need to feel good.
You need to read these kinds of books.
You need to, exactly, you need to feel good about stuff, you know, and there's something with the way heaven, you know, the heaven tells us to do things, you know, and it's just something, I don't know, that's something you would like. Since it's unavoidable for your mind to judge, you can use your power of judgment to help guide your thoughts and actions to create karma based on love. You know, so just sweet stuff like that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, really sweet stuff.
And talking about that with people who passed on, I think a lot of people have heard of this by Mitch Albom. The first book he wrote was Breakfast with Maury.
Yes.
And the second one is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. I can't get it. It's too light. There, that's a little bit better. And it's about a man who passed over, and he thought that his life was worthless. He thought he was responsible for a little girl dying. And he woke up on the other side, and he started a journey there. His angels were guiding him on this journey through life to show him the people that he met. I'm going to cry. The people that he met, what meaning they had in his life.
Were what?
What meaning they had.
Oh, really?
You know, what am I getting like this for? I don't understand.
Wow, it's really touching you.
They made a movie out of this, too.
Okay.
I forget the man who played in Midnight Cowboy. What's his name?
Oh, yes. I
forgot his name.
Yeah.
Angela Jolie's husband.
Jon Voight.
Jon
Voight.
He plays in this. He does a fantastic job. But read the book. If you want to see the movie, I'm sure you may have seen it, but read the book because it tells you what we just talked about. Nothing in life is a coincidence. And he shows them all the people who passed over are there. And they all tell him what he did for them. As he goes through life. And his father, who he had a bad relationship with, also he finds out things about his father, his wife. I mean, you go see the movie over and over. I bought it. I own the movie. And I watch it over and over again. but you got to read the book first. It's
Okay.
really, I don't know what to tell you, but this will make you feel so wonderful.
Oh, good.
And when you want to feel wonderful and you want to uplift, read this book, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so, all right, so the Universal Christ by Richard Rohr. It's another one that I'm working on. It's taking me a long time to get through it. I'm not going to kid you. Okay, this man is like amazing. He's a true modern day, mystic, and he's written so many books. I saw him interviewed by Oprah. Apparently he's sick again, so things don't look good. So he decided to kind of just go all out and write this book, The Universal Christ, How a Forgotten Reality Can Change Everything We See, Hope For, and Believe. And basically the first chapter, he writes, I'm going to read a little bit here, but, well, let me just read this first. He says, it says, drawing on scripture, history, and spiritual practice, Rohr articulates a transformative view of Jesus Christ as a portrait of God's constant unfolding work in the world. God loves things by becoming them, he writes, and Jesus' life was meant to declare that humanity has never been separate from God. That's why Jesus came.
Yes.
We're not separate, except by its own negative choices. When we recover this fundamental truth, faith becomes less about proving Jesus was God and more about learning to recognize the Creator's presence all around us and in every one we meet. His first chapter is Christ is not Jesus' last name.
No.
Okay, Christ, I think what I've gotten so far from it, he writes, Jesus came to show us how to be human much more than how to be spiritual.
Yes,
That really hit me.
that's right.
That was powerful.
How to
be a human
Yes.
being, right, more than
Yes,
being a
I know what you mean
spiritual
by that, yes.
being. And he said,
How to live our lives.
he exemplified what Christ means.
Right.
He alone is not Christ.
No.
He exemplifies what that word means and how we can live as Christ.
Yeah.
Right, in Christ, or I may not be
If you
saying
look
it
up
right,
the
but-
word Christ, what Jesus is, he is the Christ of God.
Yes.
Christ is a meaning
It's a
by itself.
meaning,
You got to look
yes.
it up, everyone. Look
Yeah,
up
yeah,
that.
look it up.
What it means.
Because so it can imply
Right.
he just came. You don't have to be Christian.
No.
You don't have to be Christian. It's a way of living that other religions and cultures
Right.
accept and respect.
Exactly.
It's a way of being. Yeah.
Christ is, Jesus is God's son, only begotten son, and someday I wish I could explain to you people how that works, but I don't know if that's in the cards or not. But that's what he is, and that's what he came to show us. And you're right. The word Christ.
How to live
yeah.
in Christ.
Yeah.
How to be
in Jesus.
in that way. How
And
to-
actually,
yeah.
he has his own name,
Yeah.
which God gave him.
You were
when he
saying
was
that
born.
to me,
Yes,
yeah, which
yes.
I had never heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know. He gave us all names.
Yeah.
Every single one of us, as we were created, we have a name that we're called on the other side. And speaking of that,
Yeah.
this is a book from the group that I follow, Universal Spirit. It's called, I don't think you're going to be able to see this. This is my word. This is my word. Answers and questions. Okay. If you remember in the regular Bible, at the very end, Jesus says, there's so much more I could tell you, but you wouldn't understand it right now. Someday the Holy Spirit will come and teach you everything. And he is the Holy Spirit. Okay, and he has come in spirit, not in the body. He shall never come in the body again. Been there, done that, especially in today's age, spiritually. Now this book takes up where that left off. And in other words,
Where the Bible left
yeah,
off?
the Bible has, if you read, there's so many articles you can read about this. Just don't take my word for it. It has been changed and rewritten over the years to suit different religions, to make people believe what they wanted to teach them themselves, the writers who did this changing. But this is, what is that word? Well, it's unaltered. There's another word here. I can't think of the word. But anyway, this book, this is, what they do is, they take the revelation from There's a certain Bible they use. Trying to hurry here. Well, they use one of the Bibles, and they put what it says, and then Christ will, then through the prophetess, will explain to you exactly what it means.
Okay.
So you get the exact meaning. I wanted to read, I had this a little bit for the preface. It says, for some readers, it's difficult to understand that Christ, the Son of God, refers back to a relatively unknown gospel in that he not only builds on it, but also explains, connects, and deepens, that is, also complements it. And the reason for this is because Christian denominations and communities, as well as Bible experts, have made it their Bible, which they consider as a whole and pure truth, into their own property. Mm-hmm. They change, just what I had said. They are mistakenly convinced that the Word of God was given in their Bible once and for all time and was thereby finished. For this reason, it was not possible for Christ, the Redeemer of all souls and men, to explain, correct, and deepen that book, their Bible, within the still existing Christian denominations and the communities which bind people to them. Okay, so this explains everything. He talks about his life. He talks about the things that are said in the Bible. He explains it to you. It's just excellent. And this is another thing. You can read this over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
and you can buy this from Universal Spirit, which we give the website at the end of the show. This is a must-read. I know there are people who say, no, the Bible, that's it. There's nothing more. But he says at the end, if they read, more. So much more. I can tell you, we wouldn't understand it now. Someday, the Holy Spirit will come. Well, what happened? They don't remember that. That's there. And this is it. This is his word. This is his final word.
It's pretty powerful.
It really is. So please, order this book and read it over and over again. You're going to love it.
All right. So I want to talk about this book last, but I'm just going to, because we're getting near the end, I'm going to just buzz through really quick these 5 books.
Go ahead.
Okay, so real quick. Embraced by the Light by Betty Eady. She was one of the first to write about her experiences when she had a near-death experience.
Yes.
Mother of 5, died, crossed over.
Great book.
Unbelievable book, okay?
I read that one,
That's a must for that. Hello from Heaven. This is by a couple, the Guggenheims. And this is like a Bible, too, if you want to know about after-death communication. I refer so much to this book. It's just an excellent, excellent book. They collect data and continue to collect data all over the world about people's experiences. You can see them online. This is Bond with Your Baby Before Birth by Kim O'Neill. I've interviewed her on my show. It's an excellent book if you're wondering why you're not getting pregnant, why you miscarried, why, just so many questions. She answers it, and also how do you communicate with your unborn baby before they arrive. I mean, it gives a whole other perspective, okay?
All right, that'll go good with the show we did on that.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Angels in My Hair by Lorna Byrne. She lives in Ireland. She's very well known. This reads like a novel. This is her story. She channels Archangel Michael. There's some beautiful prayers in here. I couldn't put it down. It just reads like a novel, and it's the truth.
What does she
of
talk
her
about?
life.
What is she,
her life and what it was, and her hearing angels from the beginning.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
So many things. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, excellent book.
That sounds very good.
And then lastly, if you are a hands-on healer, you might want to consider, you probably already know, Hands of Light by Barbara Ann Brennan. And this is like when I went to healing school, this was our manual. I mean, it's just, she is a ex-NASA physicist. I mean, she's just into the science of it. So she really does a good job of merging science and, the ethereal.
Yep.
Okay?
That's
so,
great.
So, yeah.
Well, I'll go through these really quick, too. Oh, you want to do that one?
I want to do this last.
You want a last before we close the show?
We'll
All
have
right.
time.
This is Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life.
Talk about a Bible.
Okay. This is an excellent, excellent book. This is for you, people yourself, which I've also had problems like this. When you have low self-esteem, when you have poor parental guidance from parents who didn't know themselves and had a hard time teaching, and left you with kind of a, very low self-esteem, not loving yourself, not liking yourself, having problems. This book is great. It's really wonderful. If you can read it, and there's little exercises you can do, it's almost like going to a therapist. It's a very pretty book. It's very, very pretty. And it also tells you about when you have an illness in your body or problems with a certain part of your body, it tells you what your thinking is that's causing this.
Right.
It's excellent, okay? We have Astral Horror, which is from that too, which we have to say this, because it's true. It talks about how souls who have passed on who have not gone to the light, who are earthbound, who hang around here, who cling to people.
Yeah.
And what happens, how it happens to you, and for you to be aware of it, for you to know about it, so you be forewarned and understanding. It's a very good book to read. It's not scary. You should read it, okay? And this is the biography of the prophetess. We did a show on her. Tells about her life. It's called The Emissary of the Christ of God, is prophetess of the present time, Gabriella. So this, in case you want to know where this all comes from, it comes from her, from Universal Spirit, the things we show, Hans videos, and it tells you what she went through, how she started in a house, her own house, at night with a few people gathering.
Wow.
Because an angel came and told her this she had to be doing this, and what she does now, and all the books that are in print, and everything that's happening to her life now. So please try to read that. And a book on reincarnation. It's not very big. It's very thin. It's a starter for people who kind of are on the shelf about this. I don't know if it's true or not. Gives you a lot of food for thought. And you are the animal, you the human being. And it tells you that if you treat people, I can't get it right. Your light is better than my light. Hold that. You hold that. Can you? No. Yeah, see?
There we go.
It's better. It's kind of,
There,
there you
like
go.
that. Helps a little bit.
And it tells
and
you.
What is it about?
You the animal, you the human being. It tells you this is who has higher values, people or animals.
That's interesting.
It
I've
tells
never
you
heard this.
About animals. It tells you what happens when you pass over, for the way you treated animals. This is the most interesting book if people are wondering about animals. There are people who love animals and people who think it's just an animal.
Oh.
This is going to open your eyes to a lot of things.
Wow. Oh, unique
So
books
go ahead,
you've
tell
got
us we got
there.
that last one.
Okay,
quickly.
so very quick. This cute little book is called The Prayer of Jabez. The Prayer of Jabez by Bruce Wilkinson. Little book. He talks about, there's like 6 or 8 lines in the Bible. Nobody ever heard of it. It's like the Chronicles area. I think it's the Chronicles where nobody ever reads. And Jabez calls out to God, and his prayer is, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my territory." And bless me indeed means ask for more blessings. There's plenty of blessings for us. We need to ask for them, okay? So that you bless me indeed and enlarge my territory. That means, what else do you want me to do, God? Okay? That your hand would be with me. Surrender to God. And that you could keep me from evil, because the more work you do for God, the more the temptation's going to come in, because the devil's going to come around, right?
We're out of time, honey.
Okay. All right. And that I may not cause pain, so don't let me hurt anybody. It's a great little book.
All right. It's a great book to read. All right, then. We're going to give you our contact information.
I'm Carla Augustin, and my website's carlaaugustin.com. And please watch my show on YouTube. It's called Spiritual Invitation. You just type in my name in the search, and all the episodes will come up.
And me, Rosemary LaChance, phone number 203-627-7966. There's my email, my website, and this important website for these books I told you about, www.gabrielle-publishing-house.com. Please go on there and get these books. All right? So we hope you enjoyed this show.
I know. That was fun.
We have
yes,
wonderful, honey.
Yes, I know. It was so great.
All right.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Mwah.
Fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.